Good evening, everybody. This week we are going to look at personality disorders. They start on the DSM on page 645. And I think that the definition they have in the first paragraph is a really good way to conceptualize personality disorders. They are enduring patterns of inner experience and behavior that deviates markedly from the expectations of the individual's culture. They are pervasive and inflexible. They have an onset in adolescence and early adulthood, are stable over time, and leads to distress or impairment. Many of you have probably heard of personality disorders. One of the more famous ones is borderline personality disorder, antisocial personality disorder. But there are many others. There are about, about a dozen. And they really are disorders that one sees in adulthood. And again, like many other mental health disorders, there really is no test to see if somebody has a personality disorder. It's really a description of the behavior of the individual that indicates whether or not a personality disorder or personality trait is present. You will not be allowed to diagnose these in somebody younger than 18 years old. And mostly you will see them in people who are 30, 35 or older. That's when the patterns of behavior become very marked. Personality disorders are split into 3 clusters, they're called. And it's important to get a handle on which ones are in which cluster. Cluster A includes personality disorders that have some features of psychosis and can be confused with psychotic disorders. So it's important to look at these and know what they are and how their behavior marks them differently from psychosis disorders. Cluster B personality disorders are disorders that are organized around, let's see how I should frame it. Behavior that is extreme in individuals. It includes antisocial and borderline personality disorder, as well as some others. And then finally, cluster C personality disorder are those that are mainly organized around dependency and avoidance and passivity in others. So again, you will, it's interesting. It's become slightly unpopular to use these diagnostic codes with people. At the same time, in our general popular media and news, you hear a lot about personality disorders, particularly, well, narcissism, borderline, and antisocial. So take a look at these. This is not a long section. You really need to understand personality disorders as a way to help you rule out other major mental health disorders. For instance, there's an obsessive compulsive personality disorder, as well as obsessive compulsive disorder. And it's important to know the difference between the two. You can find out the specific differences by reading through the diagnostic features and understanding the differential diagnosis. Those are the sections at the end of each diagnostic criteria subchapter for a disorder that tells you why it's this and not that. So that's an important part of the book to read. So we also have some other readings for the course, some optional readings around personality disorders that might be helpful to you, particularly those of you who work with adults. And we also have a couple of videos this week as well. I'm still working my way through the case studies to post up my version of the case studies each week of the diagnostic worksheet for case studies. Let's see what else. Well, there's not a whole lot left to this course. We have personality disorders this week and then trauma disorders next week. And then the final week, there are a couple of readings that I think are important, but they're optional. Really, that final week is for you to help give you time to catch up on the final assignments. I will have 2 online optional Zoom sessions. And I need to repost the links. We're having a problem with Moodle and Zoom and embedding links within Moodle. So I will clean up the links today. And there is a optional Zoom Tuesday night from 7:30 to 8:30 and on Saturday afternoon, I think at 3:30 to 4:30. I'm going to record the session tomorrow. And I will close caption it as well. And we're mainly going to talk about the psychosocial assessment assignments that are due in a week's time. So I will also answer questions about the final exam, but mostly focus on the psychosocial assessments because folks have more questions about those. The exam is pretty straightforward. So I hope to see some of you online tomorrow night or Saturday. Have a good week. As always, email me if you've got a personal question. There is still the assignment question forum in the assignment section if you have a question about the assignment. So if you have a question about the structure of it or how long it needs to be or the formatting of it, put your questions in that forum because other people will benefit from your question and answer. So I hope you all have a good week. Take care. Bye-bye.